What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This here's Logitical Response, and the push to obliterate the First Amendment is still going strongly, y'all. Democrats are on the tip of the spear of this. They call it mis and disinformation. Oh, we got to combat mis and disinformation, right? Talking about social media, you get the Biden administration coming in, and they just don't seem to care about freedom of expression, freedom of speech. They have backdoor access to social media platforms. They go in and they have people's posts deleted if they don't like them, for crying out loud. I've discussed this at great length. The Biden administration doing this violates people's First Amendment rights. They were sued by several lawsuits to stop doing this. There's currently an injunction in place to stop them from doing this. But have they stopped? Yes. We don't know. We have no idea if they've stopped whatsoever. But we do know that there is some good news. A lot of the restrictions on what and what you cannot say have been lifted on a lot of these social media platforms, especially since Elon Musk bought X. We actually have a lot more freedom of speech. It's not absolute, for crying out loud, but, you know, for the most part, if you want to speak your opinion, you can get on there and speak your opinion. You still get banned into oblivion on Facebook if you have the wrong opinions, right? Like, nobody likes mis and disinformation, right? Like, this is one of the main reasons why the corporate press and the mainstream news suck so much, because they constantly lie. But we don't see Democrats going after the mainstream news, talking about, oh, well, they need to be shut down. They need to moderate their own content, for crying out loud. Because they constantly propagate mis and disinformation. And we know this. We're constantly catching these people in lies, especially on this channel. That's all we do. We read the news and we figure out, hey, look, they lied about this. Oh, come to find out, it was this instead of that. They made us believe one thing when it was really something totally different. And what am I ranting about, y'all? Check this out. Hillary Clinton is on the warpath, y'all. We lose total control. Clinton continues her censorship campaign on CNN. That's right. This is an op-ed from Jonathan Turley, who is a pretty good advocate for freedom of speech. Check this out, Lee. Hillary Clinton is continuing her global efforts to get countries, including the United States, to crack down on opposing views. This is true, and they do it all under the impetus of, oh, well, we need to moderate things like child porn. Right? Well, child pornography is illegal, and these social media platforms already moderate this content. You might say they don't do a good enough job, and I would agree with you. They could do a lot better. But the thing is, behind this smokescreen of, you know, just censoring child pornography and things that are illegal, oh, well, these people are getting bullied, and these people are saying hate speech. Oh, hate speech. Yes. Now you're getting into speech, right? Hate speech doesn't exist. I'm sorry. You can call it whatever you like. It's an opinion, but you can't define hate speech. That's why it doesn't exist. Now, I could come out and say, I hate such and such, and that could be categorized as hate speech. But is it? Yes, that is the question. Answer that down in the comments for me, if you don't mind. Clinton went on to lament the continued resistance to censorship and to call upon Congress to limit free speech. This is what they do. In pushing her latest book, Something Lost and Something Gained, Clinton amplified on her warnings about the dangers of free speech. What is clear is that the gain of greater power for leaders like Clinton would be the loss of free speech for ordinary citizens. Clinton heralded the growing anti-free speech movement and noted that there are people who are championing it, but it's been a long and difficult road to getting anything done. She is right, of course. As I discuss in my book, the challenge for anti-free speech champions like Clinton is that it is not easy to convince a free people to give up their freedom. He is totally correct on this. That is why figures like Clinton are going old school and turning to government or corporations to simply crack down on citizens. One of the lowest moments came after Elon Musk bought Twitter on a pledge to restore free speech protections. Clinton called upon European officials to force Elon Musk to censor American citizens under the infamous Digital Services Act. This is a former Democratic presidential nominee calling upon Europeans to force the censorship of Americans, and they have been very successful. Just look at what has happened in Brazil. Brazil banned X just outright and fined Elon Musk. I forget the number, but it was in the millions of dollars, right? Elon Musk has taken a lot of heat for purchasing X, or Twitter, and turning it into X, right? A lot of advertisers have fled the platform. And why is that? Oh, because he wants freedom of speech. And they say, oh, well, we don't want our advertisements next to this hate speech. Well, define hate speech. You know, there's been some studies conducted. As a matter of fact, there's a lawsuit going on right now against Media Matters, who manipulated the system, right, to get certain advertisements to pop up next to certain accounts. They had to manipulate the system to get it to do this. Insanity, y'all. Just outright insanity, and they're being sued, rightfully so, and they're gonna win. They're gonna win bigly, in the words of Donald Trump. They're going to win, because if it takes manipulating the system to get a desired outcome, then what does that say about the system? It's working. It's outright working. Could it be better? Sure. It could be a whole lot better, because there's still a lot of porn on X, right? Like, I get messages constantly, and it pisses me off, from these weird accounts, these Telegram accounts. They want me to go over there and look at their pornography, right? And I get pictures sent to my inbox, and, you know, I try to unfollow these people so they can't do it every time I get one of these. But, you know, they're constantly coming in, and it's just crazy, and it's something you got to deal with. But this stuff is hard to moderate. And guess what, folks? All of these problems existed before Elon Musk bought the platform. That's right. All of these problems existed. So they're not doing anything out of the ordinary, but except trying to make Elon Musk hurt for buying the platform and allowing people to speak their opinions. But they want you to not have these opinions. That's why the Biden administration had backdoor access to Twitter. We learned this through the Twitter files, and was suggesting that, hey, this person needs to be banned. We don't like their opinion. That this was all laid out in court cases, in court documents. We went and poured over all this garbage, and it was insane. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The federal government, pretty much all of the, most of the agencies, the FBI, the CIA, NIH of all places, it goes on and on and on, having people's speech censored, just outright. The Hunter Biden laptop story was censored. That could have changed the outcome of the 2020 election. Could have. Right? There was polls done, and most of those polls in aggregate got to around 17%. It was like 10 to 17% of people said they would have changed their vote if they would have known about all the contents and all the malfeasance of the Biden family. They would have changed their vote outright. That's crazy. That's election interference, which is insane. But let's keep going. She was joined recently by another former Democratic presidential nominee, John Kerry, who called for government crackdowns on free speech. As a matter of fact, we played that clip. Other Democrats have praised Brazil for banning X. For her part, Clinton praised the anti-free speech efforts in California and New York and called for the rest of the country to replicate the approach of those states. Clinton added a particularly illuminating line that said the quiet part out loud. This is all about power and the fear that she and others will lose control over free speech.
We should be, in my view, repealing something called Section 230, which gave, platforms on the internet immunity because they were thought to be just pass-throughs, that they shouldn't be judged for the content that is posted. But we now know that that was an overly simple view, that if the platforms, whether it's Facebook or Twitter X or Instagram or TikTok, whatever they are, if they don't moderate and monitor the content, we lose total control. And it's not just the social and psychological effects, it's real harm.
It's child porn and threats of violence, things that are terribly dangerous. Well, guess what, Clinton? They already moderate all of those things. All of them. Constantly. Are you going to catch all of it? Eventually, you'll catch these things. But they are doing what they can do. Right? It's so widespread. It's really hard to get all this off of your platform. But the Clinton and these people, they act like they're not trying at all. They just act like, oh, we're letting people get bullied and there's child pornography all over the place. That's just not the case. That's a delusionist revision to actually what's going on. That's just their made-up delusion. They're trying to make you think that, oh, well, this child porn's just pervasive and all over the place, and everybody's complicit, and blah, 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 and people are getting bullied all over the place. I'm sorry. These things are moderated. So, what's their push? What's their angle here? They don't like certain opinions, right? That's what the mis and disinformation part of all this is. They want to make you think that what you're putting out is mis and disinformation when it's just an opinion statement, right? They already have community notes, right? Like YouTube has this, X has this. As a matter of fact, Truth Social has this. But these people, they if you say something that's not true, there's a community note. YouTube does it all the time. That you can go and click on a link and go and find out the official narrative. Put it that way. I'm not going to say the truth. We'll say official narrative, because the official narrative isn't always the same, and it changes sometimes. We know that. Clinton continues to offer a textbook example of the anti-free speech narrative, while seeking sweeping censorship for anything deemed disinformation. Clinton cites specific examples that are already barred under federal law, like child porn. Despite the amplified message on sites like CNN, most citizens may not be as aggravated as Clinton that she and her allies could lose total control over the internet. The greater fear is that she and her allies could regain control of social media. The internet is the single greatest invention for free speech since the printing press. That is precisely why figures like Clinton are panicked over the inability to control it. If citizens remain true to their values and this indispensable right, Clinton will hopefully continue to face a long and difficult road to getting anything done in limiting the free speech of her fellow citizens. That is right, and I sure hope so. I sure hope these people will see the writing on the wall. Look, you can't censor speech. If somebody wants to get out there and lie, they most certainly have the right to do so. Now, it is up to the community to correct these lies. But we got to differentiate between somebody's opinion and somebody actually trying to inform people incorrectly, right? Like, it's just something that they don't seem to differentiate. You get censored into oblivion, or at least we were, right? Like, they're pulling back on a lot of this because of the pushback. People don't like being censored. If they want to get out there and yell some garbage BS, they can do that, right? And let the people excoriate them for doing so. If they want to lie about stuff, let them lie, and then we'll be like, no, dude, you're lying, that's wrong. It's just outright wrong. Let the people do that. This is garbage. We love conspiracy theories, right? Like, people might not buy in. I'm not a big conspiracy theorist. I like hearing some of them because I like hearing about some of the ridiculousness of some of these conspiracy theories. Like Flat Earth. Flat Earth is insane. It's just outright insane. And then the overwhelming amount of evidence to show that the Earth is a ball is confounding as to why some of these people still think the Earth is flat. You've got lots and lots of contradictory evidence for Flat Earth. A lot of it doesn't go together. There's no model for the flat earth, right? Like some of these people think there's an ice wall that goes all the way around us and that there's land well beyond that. Some of them don't think that at all. Some people think that the earth is moving upwards, which define up in that context. Upwards at, was it 9.8 kilometers per second or something like that, whatever 1g is in speed. That's what they think. It's just rambling insanity to listen to some of these flat earthers talk about flat earth and try to explain flat earth, right? When you can debunk the flat earth with no science and no math. Just simple observations can debunk the flat earth just outright. But people still propagate flat earth, and they should be most certainly allowed to do so. You want to speculate on if we went to the moon or not? You should most certainly be allowed to do that. I don't see a problem with that. It's entertaining to me to watch somebody go through all these pictures of the moon landing and all this garbage and try to explain away the moon landing. It's insane. Right? Like, hey, the moon landing is one of those that, yeah, there's a lot of evidence that shows it didn't happen. But, the vast majority of the evidence proves it did, in my opinion, but that's an opinion. I personally can't prove that we went to the moon. And people want to believe what they want to believe, and they should be allowed to freely believe whatever they want to believe. We shouldn't have a government coming in and tell them, well, you can't say that we didn't go to the moon. That's BS. That's just outright BS. We shouldn't have the government coming in and saying, you can't say the earth is flat. That's garbage to me. If people want to propagate mis and disinformation, they should be allowed to do so, but we should have the tools, which we do, to get people the correct information. Right? There should be the available means on the internet to research, do your own research, and figure all this stuff out yourself. People are not idiots, but Democrats think you should be sheltered from certain information because it's dangerous. Why? Why is it dangerous? Right? You can't say it's because, we're to lead somebody down a path of violence. No. If anybody's going to go down that path to violence, which, lately is looking more and more like Democrats do this. Look at the assassination attempts on Donald Trump and the Summer of Love 2020. Yeah, that's mostly Democrat violence. But I thought the Democrats were the party of censorship. I don't know. See, I'm for censorship, to be honest with you, because I don't want my kid looking at porn, right? I have a 14-year-old kid, sorry. He's 14. He's going to be looking at porn. I'm sorry. There's just no way around it. I don't want him doing so, but can I stop it? No. It's out there. He can access this stuff. It's just, I don't know, it's just ridiculous, right? Like, we want certain things censored. We don't want certain books in school libraries, for crying out loud, because it's inappropriate for children. But these people, right, they want to censor your speech, but they want books that are inappropriate for children to be put in school libraries, right? They're fighting tooth and nail for this. They want censorship in certain places and not censorship in other places, which the Republicans are just the opposite. They want censorship in certain places and less censorship in other places. But we're going to have censorship, folks. It's going to be there. It's to what degree, right? Censoring people's speech is where we draw the line. You can't censor people's speech. We don't want inappropriate things in school libraries. This is common sense. You don't want your child learning about adult activities from their school librarian, for crying out loud. So censorship is good for certain things where it's appropriate. But you get an adult platform, like, I don't think kids should be allowed on X. Honestly, I don't think children, anyone under 18, should be allowed on X because there's porn. outright. We don't let kids into an adult bookstore, for crying out loud, so they shouldn't be allowed to be exposed to places where porn is there. Just plain as day, outright. Boom. That would free up a lot of this censorship that the Democrats are talking about. But that's not their only angle. We know that. But I think I'm rambling at this point. So I want y'all to do me a big favor. Smash that like button. Subscribe to this channel. And share this video with anybody and everybody. It would be a really, really big help to me if you could hit that like button. You know, that the algorithm loves that like button. So I know sometimes you forget to do so, but if y'all could just do me that big favor and hit that like button for me, I would appreciate it a whole hell of a lot. And that's all I got for this one, y'all. I want to thank everybody for watching, and y'all trying to have a good day. Stay legitical. Peace.